Thanks for joining us on this full journey into OLED versus QLED for gaming in 2025. We hope you've got clarity, confidence, and maybe even a shopping list. If you learned something new, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our next tech breakdown. From console wars to display debates, all things electronics is here to make tech simple and satisfying for every gamer. Drop your favorite display in the comments. What's your setup? What game blew your mind on your screen? And most importantly, what screen are you upgrading to next? We'll see you in the comments and in the next video. Before we begin, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. We're on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers, and your support helps us keep creating simple, honest content just like this. If you've learned anything from this channel before, you know we don't rush you or confuse you, we explain tech the way a friend would. Every sub is a big part of growing this mission. So thank you in advance. We also want to thank every single viewer who's been watching our videos and sending in their feedback. Your emails, your questions, and your kind support make this work worth doing. If you ever want to reach out, support the channel, or send a suggestion, feel free to contact us directly at alexandermuyui@gmail.com. This is your space too. Let's start with the basics. To understand which lasts longer, OLED or QLED, we first have to understand what they are and how they work. Both are types of display technologies used in modern televisions and monitors, but they produce images using very different methods. OLED stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode. It's called organic because each pixel is made up of organic compounds that emit light when electricity is applied. These pixels are self-lit, meaning they don't need a backlight to produce images. QLED, on the other hand, stands for Quantum Dot Light Emitting Diode. But here's something important: QLED is not self-lit. It still relies on a backlight, usually LED-based, which shines through a layer of quantum dots that enhance color and brightness. The pixels themselves aren't producing light, the backlight is doing that job. The quantum dots help filter and improve that light, making the colors more vibrant and the brightness much higher than traditional LED TVs. Now, let's talk about lifespan, which is the heart of today's question. When we say lifespan, we're not just asking how long until the TV dies. We're asking how long it maintains peak performance, image quality, brightness, color accuracy, before those things start to degrade. For most people, this is what really matters. A TV may power on after 10 years, but if the screen looks dull, colors are off, or parts of it are damaged, it's not truly usable. Let's take a closer look at OLED's lifespan first. Because OLED pixels are made of organic compounds, they degrade slowly over time. This is most noticeable in the blue subpixels, which wear out faster than red and green. As blue pixels degrade, it can shift the color balance on the screen. Over many thousands of hours, this leads to a warmer, more yellow image. But don't worry, this doesn't happen quickly. Modern OLED TVs are rated to last 70,000 to 100,000 hours, depending on brightness settings and usage. To put that into perspective, 100,000 hours of usage equals 11 years of 24/7 use, or nearly 30 years if you watch TV for 8 hours a day. Most people will replace their TVs long before then, usually within 7 to 10 years, often just because they want a bigger or newer screen. So technically, OLED can last as long as QLED in normal homes. But there are a few more things we need to consider before calling it even. One of the biggest concerns people have about OLED is something called burn-in. Burn-in happens when the same static image, like a logo, game HUD, or news ticker, stays on screen for so long that it leaves a faint, permanent shadow. This is different from temporary image retention, which goes away after a few minutes or hours. Burn-in can become visible after hundreds or thousands of hours if content doesn't vary often. Gamers or news watchers are most at risk, especially if they pause screens or watch the same channel for long stretches. The good news is that OLED manufacturers have developed strong protections against burn-in. New TVs use pixel shifting, screen refresh functions, and brightness limiting to reduce the risk. Even if you leave a pause screen on for an hour, your OLED will take small steps in the background to protect itself. LG, Sony, and other brands have fine-tuned this in 2025. As long as you use your TV normally, watch different content, let it rest occasionally, burn-in is extremely rare. For most users, it's not a deal breaker anymore. QLED, in contrast, does not suffer from burn-in. Because it's backlit and doesn't use organic materials, there's nothing to permanently degrade on the pixel level. You can leave a paused game, a static sports scoreboard, or even a YouTube logo on screen for hours and never see any permanent image shadow. This makes QLED a safer option for static content, signage, or homes where the TV stays on all day. It's often preferred in offices, stores, or multi-use spaces for that reason. When it comes to brightness, QLED has a strong advantage, and it matters for lifespan. QLED TVs can get 2 to 3 times brighter than OLEDs, and they hold their brightness levels better over time. OLED TVs are bright enough for most situations, but using them at maximum brightness speeds up the degradation of the organic materials. If you're always watching TV in a sunlit room or with brightness set to full, QLED will maintain its picture quality longer. That's just physics. However, OLED fights back in terms of efficiency. Because its pixels light themselves, OLED consumes less power in darker scenes, and black pixels use zero energy. This gives OLED an advantage in dim environments and helps the panel last longer if you mostly watch movies, TV shows, or games with a lot of dark scenes. OLED essentially rests its pixels more often. If you enjoy cinematic content or play single-player games, OLED may end up aging better than you'd expect. Let's talk numbers. In 2025, most OLED and QLED TVs, especially from trusted brands like LG, Samsung, Sony, and TCL, are rated to last around 100,000 hours of normal use. That number is based on manufacturers' lab tests and assumes you're using default brightness settings. If you're a typical user who watches TV in the evenings and games occasionally, both displays will last well over a decade without any visible loss in quality. In this sense, longevity is no longer a massive gap. But usage patterns matter. If you're a gamer who plays the same game every day for 5 years, or someone who leaves CNN running all day, QLED is more durable under stress. If you like variety, movies, Netflix, gaming, sports, and use your TV in balanced ways, OLED can go the distance just as well. Knowing your habits is key. Another thing to factor in is color fading. Over time, both OLED and QLED can shift slightly in how they display colors. For OLED, it's the organic compounds slowly losing their brightness. For QLED, it's the backlight and quantum dots losing intensity or accuracy. However, these changes are subtle and happen so slowly that you're unlikely to notice unless you compare an old unit side by side with a new one. Modern TVs also come with firmware updates that help preserve screen quality. These updates fine-tune contrast, improve pixel refresh timing, and adapt to your viewing habits. Both OLED and QLED benefit from this. If you keep your TV connected to the internet and accept updates regularly, your screen may actually improve over time in how it manages its own wear. And let's not forget cost of replacement. OLED panels are more complex and costlier to repair or replace if something does go wrong after warranty ends. QLED panels are generally cheaper to manufacture and fix. If you're worried about long-term maintenance, QLED may bring more peace of mind financially. So, what's the answer? Which one lasts longer? Technically, QLED wins in stress-heavy, static use, high-brightness environments. But in most real-life home setups, the difference is minimal. If you treat your OLED well, it can last just as long as a QLED, and sometimes longer, depending on what and how you watch. Thank you for watching this in-depth guide right here on all things electronics. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us keep this channel going. We're aiming for 50,000 subscribers, and every new sub gets us closer to creating better, clearer, and more empowering tech content for people like you.